Hey, I want to talk to you about your 401k plan, your retirement plan, because I think you're using it all wrong. Matter of fact, most Americans are using it completely wrong. So I want to give you 3 basic rules on how to best use your 401k so that you're not putting all your money into somebody else's control. So you're taking back control of your money and you're using it to better your life, not just later when you retire, but today. So first thing I want to do is I want to talk to you a little bit about what most people do. Well, most people put money in their 401k and they don't really know why. They say, because somebody told me to. And then I ask them, well, what is it that you're investing in? Because you're putting money in 401k and you're investing that money in mutual funds or ETFs. So what are you invested in? I don't know. That's usually the answer. I don't know. Or maybe they'll be like, I don't know, that conservative thing. Or maybe it's that, that freedom thing, 2045 thingamajigger. Most people that put their hard-earned money into a retirement plan have no freaking clue what they're putting their money in. And then when the whole market goes down, they're like, well, how come I'm losing money? Why is my 401k going down? I don't know what's going on. Well, that's because you don't know what you don't know. So let's just keep this really simple. Why are you putting money in your 401k? Let's break it down to why. The first reason why is because they're giving you free money. In most cases, one of the rules that I want you to kind of remember is you're getting a match. Now, I'm not saying all 401ks give you a match, but many of them do. It's kind of a reward for you working for that company. It's an incentive. The company says, hey, put in $1 and we will match 3% dollar for dollar, or 4%, or 50 cents on the dollar up to a certain amount. Doesn't matter how they do it, it's free money. And you know what? No matter what you can learn from me or anyone else, we can't give you free money, but your employer can through the 401k. So let's just put it this way. Ask your 401k provider or your employer how much they match. Let's just say that they match 4% dollar for dollar. Let me ask you a question. If your employer says they match 4% dollar for dollar, how much should you put in your 401k? I'll give you a second. This is a tough mathematical question. Did any of you say 4%? Yeah, that's the minimum, because that's the amount they're giving you for free just for participating in it. Now hold on. If you're doing tax planning, like if you're in a high income position or you need some tax write-offs, this is a great place to do it. Your 401k can take more than the 4% in most cases. So 4% is your bare minimum. Now, I don't like 401ks, and I don't like them because you put money into something and then that money can't be used until a future time. But I'm going to show you how to use that money. But I want you to know that you can work with your CPA or your tax planner to get some good tax planning here. Now, how would that work? Well, let's just say you get a 4% match. That's how much you're going to start with. You're putting in 4%. But at the end of the year, or close to the end of the year, or any time during the year, your CPA says, hey, we should put some more into that 401k so that you don't have such a high income tax bracket. Well, this might be a good way. You could use the 401k contributions, which are tax deductible, as long as it's not a Roth. You can use this to bring your income tax down a notch. So your CPA can do that. It's called tax planning. So get with your CPA or tax preparer and find out how much would you have to put in your 401k to bring you down to a lower tax bracket. That's tax planning. And if it's not going to make a difference, don't put any more than 4% in. That is pretty simple stuff. But let's talk about the third thing. Any money you put in the 401k and you invest is going to compound. So if you're younger, you've got till 59 and a half. That's a lot of time. That money continues to compound year over year over year. So time plus return, compounding, makes a big difference. Albert Einstein called it the 8th wonder of the world. But now let's get into some fun stuff, because that's like bare bones, boring stuff. You got money in your 401k. Now, there are some rules with 401ks. Now, this is not for every 401k, so quick disclaimer, make sure you check with your 401k provider or HR to find out whether or not your 401k allows for loans. So let's talk about loans from your 401k. How do they work? Well, why would you take a loan should be the more important thing. You're not going to take a loan to go on a vacation. Please don't take a loan to go buy a new vehicle, although that could work if you understood how to be the bank. But what I want you to focus on is something that I know most Americans have, and that is good old American debt. Why did I say American debt? Because Americans are in debt. That's why. And we just did this. We went to bankrate.com and we cited this. We said, what is the average interest rate people are paying on debt here in the United States of America in 2025? This was pretty interesting. Personal debts average 12.26% interest, okay? Credit card is averaging 20.03%. Mortgages are 6.27%. And student loans are averaging 4.99%. If we just average that out, that's 10.88% average. Let's come back over to your 401k. Remember when you put money in the 401k, you have to invest it. You have to pick mutual funds. And those are those things that you say, I don't know what I'm invested in. But okay, you don't know what you're invested in, but you know what you're trying to do. You're trying to earn a return on your money, right? You want to invest in things that give you the best return. Now let me ask you this. If you got a 12.26% return on your 401k's investments, would you be happy? Okay, whoa, hold on. Some of you aren't happy, greedy bastards. How about if you got 20.03% return on your 401k investments? Would you be happy? Some of you are like, well, it'd be a good start. Great. What if you could get those returns guaranteed? Game changer, right? Because if you're striving to get 12.26, 20%, 6.27, 4.99, none of those returns in investments are guaranteed because that's exactly why. They're investments. They have no guarantees. But if you didn't have debt, that would provide a good return, right? It'd certainly provide more cash flow in your family. So let's just use a scenario where someone has $50,000 that they have saved up in their 401k. Forget about what you're invested in, but let's just say over on this side, you had $50,000 in debts spread out between personal loans, credit cards, mortgages, student loans, and whatever. You were averaging 10.88% in interest that you're giving away on your debts. Stay with me. We come over to your 401k. Now, if it was right now, we are in October of 2025, and one thing I can tell you is your investments are sitting, well, at least the markets are sitting at all-time highs. Is that good? Well, let me preface Warren Buffett. He's a pretty smart investor, right? Warren Buffett said, buy low, which you've been doing. You've been putting your money in consistently, buying low by dollar cost averaging. And then Warren Buffett says, buy low, but sell high. Remember I just said the markets are at all-time highs, so wouldn't that be a good time to just be like, well, sell high? And then he goes on to say, and don't lose money, which is kind of a joke. It's kind of a rub because it's like if you buy low and you sell high, well, then you don't lose money. So here's what we're going to do. We know we got $50,000 in debt in this particular example. And we got $50,000 in our 401k that we're trying and risking and investing money trying to get the best return. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a loan from your 401k. Now there are some rules. Typically the rule states that you can take $50,000 or 50%, whichever is less. So what I'm gonna have to do is to get $50,000 out, I gotta increase the amount in your 401k to 100. Did that make sense? Because if you could take $50,000 in loans or 50%, whichever is greater, I think if I'm saying that right, you would need $100,000 at 50% to get 50 grand. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna take a loan for 50,000 bucks and they're gonna deposit that 50 grand in your bank account. So this is your bank account. We'll just make it, that's your bank, okay? So now you got 50 grand in your bank. Now, there's some things that we must understand. When you take a loan from your 401k, this is gonna suck, but your 401k provider is gonna require you to repay that loan. Can you believe that? Your own money and you gotta repay your loan? Well, you don't have to, but if you don't, you're gonna pay taxes and probably early penalties for taking that money out pre-59.5. But when you take a loan, your 401k is gonna charge you interest. Wow, that probably pisses you off even more. It's my money, why would I pay interest on my money? Hang on. Let's just hypothetically say that to take a loan from your 401k is gonna cost you 8% interest. Now I know you don't like that, but isn't 8% lower than 12.26? Lower than 20.03? It's a little bit more than the mortgage, it's a little bit more than the student loans, but as an average, isn't 8 less than 10.88? How do banks make money? They make a spread, right? You put money in a bank as a deposit. The bank pays you interest on that money. We'll call that 1%. You go back into that same bank to get a car loan and they want to charge you 6. They're paying you 1, they're charging you 6, they're making a spread. Here, to borrow from your 401k, it costs you 8% hypothetically. To pay off debt that averages 10.88%. You make the spread, 1.88%. Now I know it's not a lot, but it's certainly not bad. But you know what else you do? You take back all the cash flow. Let's say this $50,000 in debt is costing you $1,000 a month. That sucks. That's $1,000 that you have less every month to buy groceries, to go out and have dinner with your family, to go to the movies, to go on vacations. You get the drift. It's $1,000 gone from your family forever. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna make your life better today by using your 401k, which is for tomorrow, that's gonna benefit you tomorrow by giving you more money for retirement someday. I know that was a lot of wordsmithing, but you get it, right? We're gonna make your life better today while still allowing you to save for tomorrow, the best of both worlds. And we're gonna do that by taking the money out of your 401k. Now, here's the downside. When you take the money out of your 401k, remember I said, you're gonna take the money out of the 401k. Your provider is gonna give you $50,000, which means the money comes out of the investments. When is the best time to take money out of the markets? Here at the top or here close to the bottom? Stupid question. High, right? Buy low, sell high. So right now would be one of the best times. So you got the 50 grand. What we're gonna do with that 50 grand is we are gonna go through and we're gonna pay your debts off. And we're gonna pay them off, well, because you got the full amount, but let's just say you didn't have the full amount to pay all your debts off. You would go from lowest balance to highest balance. But here, we're just gonna pay them all off. All the debts are now paid off. Let's come back over to the 401k. Remember I said one of the bad things is we got to take the money out of the market. The market was earning you money, but now we just took it out. So we took it out of the market at the highest point, so it's not earning for you anymore. So now we got to make that money earn for you. Well, how we're going to do that is we're going to take the same $1,000 that you were giving to all these debts, and we're going to take that money and we're going to repay the 401k. But you know what? You're already doing that. Because in order to take the money from your 401k, your plan administrator required you to repay that money. I said this earlier. You have to pay that money plus interest. Every pay period, they're gonna figure out how much has to be repaid into the 401k. So every time you get a paycheck, it's less. But now you're gonna support that because the money you were giving away is now yours. So that $1,000 is effectively what's gonna pay your loan back. But we gotta get over the monkey on your back. And that was your rub about paying 8% to use your own money. Who gets that 8%? Is it your greedy boss, or so you think your greedy boss? Your boss probably isn't greedy. Or is it that stupid 401k plan that you've got? Are they keeping that 8%? No. You know who gets this 8% interest or whatever that rate is? You do. The 401k plan gets it. So let's just go through the math. Remember I asked you earlier, was a 12.26% return good for your investments? 20%, 6, 4.99, varying answers. You can put it down in the comments which return you like, but we can average it out at 10.88. So when you paid all your debts back and you took the amount you were paying to your debts and you put it back in your 401k, were you not recapturing a 10.88% interest rate? You were. But see, that's not all. You are also repaying the loan per pay period, per paycheck, 8%. So it's the 10.88% average that you just paid off, plus the 8% that they require you to pay yourself back. That 8% interest charged on the loan for your 401k is going back in your 401k. So as long as you're working for that company, as long as you continue to work for that company, as long as you continue to get a paycheck, you are repaying your 401k with interest. Not just any interest today, 8%, that's quite a bit. Plus, by paying your debts off, you just recaptured the interest you were giving away and the cash flow you were giving away. Do you have to put all $1,000 back in your 401k? No. Let's say your 401k loan repayment is $500 a month. That's what it works out to. I know it's per pay period, and you're taking back $1,000, recycling and recapturing. You could use that extra $500, just use it to go enjoy your life. Take a vacation, bring the kids, bring the grandkids. Hell, just go out there and have a dinner on who? on your 401k, silly. You see, these simple things that I just told you about 401ks, everybody should know this, but nobody does. I ask people all the time, why aren't you using your 401k to pay your debts off? I don't know, I didn't know I could. Have you ever asked? I don't know, I never thought to ask. Start asking questions. Start wanting more. Start desiring more answers, or start watching my content. You can do that right now by clicking the subscribe button, and right above there's a little bell. Smash that bell and you'll be notified every time I put out new content. This is just a simple video laying out 3 simple rules. Never put in less than a match. Always use your 401k for tax planning in one way or the other, and if you can get to a lower tax bracket because your CPA figures it out, great, put more in. And don't let bugs steal your money. Who are the bugs? The market. Anyway, we got a bug walking across the screen. We're just gonna let him roll, okay? And also, tap into compounding interest. But use your 401k to get rid of debts, because the debts are burying you, they're burying your family, they're costing your family too much money, and they're keeping you up at night. So, use tomorrow's money to benefit you today. And do not get bugged down. You're messing my drawing up, buddy. You know, if you like this video, click that like button, throw me a comment, and also check this video out right here. I think you'll love it. The Secrets of the Wealthy.